Welcome back to another BS Spooktober extravaganza video. Today we are doing another top 5 battle, and we are talking about scary movies today.
Yep, our favorite, or not necessarily our favorite, but our top scary movies. So we've done family friendly, some other types of top 5s. This one is the ones that give us the spooks. Now my list is kind of weird because I feel like it's a mix of like good horror movies and specifically ones that scare me a lot, so then I had to include them. Yeah. So my number 5 pick is one, I'm not even sure if you've seen this one, but it spawned my fear of dolls, Child's Play.
Oh no, I have not.
Yeah. I still have like memories of being so scared as a kid, and I now have like a lifelong fear of like creepy dolls, so like I can't go see like Annabelle or something, it would be too scary.
So my first pick is a classic, like, scary movie, and that is the original Halloween.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's pretty spooks, you know?
It is spooky, and Michael Myers is a creepy guy with the mask.
Yeah, so that's my number 5.
Good pick.
Moving on to number 4, my pick is Saw, the first one.
Oh.
So this one I picked because at the time that I saw this movie, it was it was very much a different genre than you have typically seen. I mean, there's always kind of been like torture porn, but this one was just a little bit different, and it was just, like I said, nothing I had ever seen before, so it really creeped me out. And it's one of those like psychological horror movies, like a mindfuck movie, which is my favorite, so.
Yeah, just the fact that it was more than a standard horror movie. It was very dramatic as well. I like the first one before it kind of devolves as the series goes on.
I haven't seen any of the other ones. But I've looked up the synopsises for like all of them.
Well, my number 4 pick is continuing my fear train of dolls. And I actually mentioned this movie on my underrated list as well. Dead Silence, which is the one with all the, what are they called? Marionette doll? The dummies.
I think that's what they're called. Okay,
so this movie's just creepy. What can I say? I don't know if I want to watch it again to show you, so like you can go watch it on your own if you really want to. It creeps me out too much.
The only iteration I've ever seen of that movie, because, you know, people take elements from these classic scary movies, and there's actually a Doctor Who episode that has like a bunch of those in it, and Steven hated it.
Just anytime there's a shelf full of dolls, and then one of them just goes like, oh my god, oh, I can't handle it. So that's my number 4 on the scary movie list. Very specific to me so far, but if you have the same phobias as me, then this list is good for you. Now, my number 3 pick is probably one of the best horror movies on my list in terms of overall quality, and it's very suspenseful, but as far as scary, it's not quite as scary for me as some of the other ones, so it's only number 3, and that is Get Out.
Ooh, good choice. I guess it is kind of a horror film.
It's totally a horror film, and
really
while it's entertaining and funny, but most of that comes from the thriller and suspense. However, this movie does suspense, and in that way spooks better than a lot of movies. Like, the tension builds, and when you don't know what's happening for so long, it is very creepy.
It is. It's definitely something that keeps you very, like, tense throughout the whole movie.
So, for that reason, it's on my list. It's a great watch. If you haven't seen it, go see it, because it's great.
So my number 3 one, for all of our top 5 videos, I've been trying not to overlap too many movies because I want to like share more than just the same 5 movies for everything. However, this is one that I am doubling up on because I already talked about it on my underrated Halloween movies, and that is The Descent.
I figured that one's going to be on your list.
Yeah, so it's number 3, you'll see once I say my other ones. But I absolutely love this horror film. If you haven't watched our underrated top 5, first of all, go watch it because we have some great gems on there. But it is a spelunking gone wrong kind of thing, and it's just incredibly creepy, and it's like all in the dark. And maybe that's like kind of like your thing with the childhood fear or whatever. Like, I was super scared of the dark as a kid, and like creatures coming out of the dark, so this like pings on that excellently.
And it's super claustrophobic as well, because they're all like in super tight spaces.
Yeah. But it's also got the whole like final girl trope in it, which I am all about always, so I like it a lot.
It's a good one.
So moving on to number 2 on the list, I am doubling up on another one, and that is It Follows.
Okay.
This movie creeped me out so much the first time we saw it because it was just so different from anything I had ever seen before, and it just, the slow, like, you know something's coming, but you still can't get away from it fast enough is just terrifying.
So, my number 2 pick is also It Follows. So, that worked out pretty nicely. I almost made it my number 1, but yeah, this is another movie that just the tension is incredible. The whole movie of just every time someone's just like walking the background, you're just like the entire time.
Well, not only that, but like the creature or it that follows it changes form, and there's a couple different forms that just like creeps me out so much I can't.
Some of them are very creepy, and just the fact that even the way like it's filmed throws you off because the director put in a lot of different time frame stuff, so they have like cell phones, but they also have like old cars and like old TVs, and so they make it seem like out of place in time. It's very weird. It's
almost like a sci-fi or like a parallel universe kind of thing, I guess. Yeah, it's really weird, and it throws you off because you're like trying to figure that part out, but then there's other stuff happening. And so it's like,
it feels very surreal.
Are we not? Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. And for those of you who don't know or aren't familiar with our top 5 battles, we do not share our lists with each other beforehand, so it's always a complete surprise what we choose, so we did not plan the same number 2 pick.
Yeah, we try and come up with separate lists to come in. And that brings us to number 1, but before that, I had an honorable mention I wanted to mention, because we actually saw this movie this year, and it was really good, and it was really scary, but it only gets honorable mention list because it was only really scary the first time.
Oh.
And that is It.
Oh, it was only really scary the first time for you?
I thought there was a couple of moments that still, like, jump scare got you the second time, but I felt like that movie was very intense, and is very intense on multiple watches, but as far as scary goes, the first time I watched it, I was, like, terrified the whole time. But I'm also afraid of clowns, so I'm afraid of everything. But this movie is very scary. I think after the first watch, like most horror movies, it's not as scary. It's still intense at parts. But for that reason, it only went to my honorable mention as far as scary movies go. And my number 1 scary movie, it's actually a zombie movie. It's 28 Days Later.
Have I seen this one?
You have seen this one.
Okay, I don't remember it.
Now, I think this movie is so creepy because it's one of the first movies to ever do, like, fast zombies. And
I know which one you're talking about. I always get that mixed up with one other one, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's another one with numbers in it.
Oh, I don't know which one you're talking about. But this is one of the first movies to do fast zombies, and the way they do them is so creepy, and the fact that they like are throwing up blood on people to infect them, and they just run, and they're all twitchy the whole time, and it's very creepy, and I just think it's a great, scary movie, especially for a first watch. It's very, like, the whole time.
Because that's the one with Cillian Murphy in it, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. That's also just a good, like, person, like, creepy thing. Like, I love...
Yeah, the people are creepy.
Yeah, I love scary things that, like, there's a creature or, like, an other threat that's not, like, a human, but the human part of it is also terrible. I've mentioned this in, like, 10 videos at this point, but...
Yeah, I think it's just a great movie in general. Like, it's really good. You should go watch it. But it's also really creepy, especially on the first watch, because the tension is there the whole time. And because they're fast, it doesn't have the same, like, slow zombies are like a slow burn, like a slow impending doom you can't escape.
Like Walking Dead.
But fast zombies are aggressive and quick, and you're just constantly in danger. If one sees you, you have to run for your life. And they may still catch you because they're faster than you. Terrifying.
So my number 1 pick is It.
Oh!
So I disagree that it is not scary on the second watch. So we actually ended up seeing this movie twice in the opening weekend. If you haven't watched this movie and all of its predecessor source material, we did a whole series. We'll link it up for you somewhere. But so we went to an early screening of this movie, and then like 2 days later I was like, can we go see it again? So we did. And I thought it was just as creepy and scary on the second one. And I think what makes it scary is, like you said, it's the tension, which tension's a little bit different than scares, but I still think the tension makes it extra scary. And this is one of those few horror movies that I think that the jump scares were justified in it. Some people disagree with me, and that's okay, but I thought that the jump scares that were in it were done well and weren't overly egregious, in my opinion.
I could agree with that, and I do think parts were still scary, but overall it was less so than the first watch for me.
I don't know. The second time through, that projector scene like still got me. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. So that completes our top 5 battle lists for top scary movies. As always, let us know whose list you most agree with, and leave your own list down below. We always want to know what you guys think of these categories and what your top 5 would be. And if you like this style of top 5 video, please give us a thumbs up. It lets us know to keep doing them. It's actually one of our favorite videos to make, so we really like doing them. And if you want to see more of our videos, please subscribe. We have more coming out, and if you want to see more that we have already done, you can check those out right over there. And we will see you in our next Halloween spooky video.